was in Parliament and joins me in studio with details. Kweku, let's start from the claim of the minority that the Speaker violated the Constitution and standing orders in his decision.
So let's start from the constitutional violation that they allege the Speaker of Parliament did when he purported or actually did suspend 4 MPs. They say he has violated Articles 19 and 23. That is the right to fair hearing of these 4 MPs. And I quote, it says, Right Honourable Speaker, the right to a fair hearing is an entrenched constitutional provision under Article 19 of the Constitution. This right extends to disciplinary actions within Parliament as well as measures that can significantly impact an MP's duties and representation of constituents. They also cite Article 23 in this matter and other case. They say, Right Honourable Speaker, in view of the aforementioned authorities, it follows that by suspending the 4 members without a formal investigation and without affording them a chance to defend themselves, the process violated Article 19, the right to fair hearing, Article 19, 2C and D, right to be informed of charges and given time to respond, and Article 23, the duty to act fairly and reasonably, and then finally, Order 36, which requires the suspension beyond a day, follows proper investigation. If you look at the other issues with regards to the standing orders that they raise, they talk about the fact that the standing orders of Parliament provide clear and unambiguous procedures for disciplining members. And they cite Order 33, 129, and 130, which states that allegations of disorderly conduct or contempt of Parliament must, where appropriate, be referred to the Committee of Privileges and Immunities. The committee must conduct an investigation and submit its report, and then a decision on sanctions must be debated and voted on by the House before it takes effect.
Now, they further then go ahead to say that the Speaker did not have the authority he purports to exercise. Did they give any reasons to back that?
So they say that, Right Honourable Speaker, as you may be aware, committee sittings are officially parliamentary sittings, and therefore the rules of the House, except as otherwise stated, apply to all formal committee meetings. And Order 35 provides what they quote the law, and they say, in your formal communication to the House, you rightly characterize the disorderly conduct at the appointment committee as contemptuous parliamentary infacy parliamentary, a grave violation occurring directly in the face of Parliament. This description, however, further reinforces the point that the power to address such contempt or conduct at a committee sitting rests solely with the presiding officer, that is the chairman of the committee, at the time of the incident. And they argue that it is the chairman, by way of this order, that should have taken those steps and not the Speaker of Parliament.
Interesting. Now, why do they feel that the MPP MPs have been unfairly targeted?
Yes.
What is their demand on the Speaker in this memo?
Well, according to Alexander Afenyo-Markin in this memo, he says, while the incident complained of is regrettable, there is a growing perception that the minority caucus has been disproportionately targeted in disciplinary measures. The decision to suspend 3 minority members as against 1 member of the majority caucus without allowing them due process cast an unfortunate political overtone on the Speaker's impartiality. This is deeply concerning, as the Speaker must remain a neutral arbiter who upholds fairness for all parties in Parliament. Their claim is that given that 3 NPP MPs have been suspended and only 1 NDC MP, it would appear the Speaker unfairly targeted their side. And they have 4 demands on the Speaker. 1, the suspension of the 4 MPs must be reversed immediately as it lacks the required procedural and legal foundation. 2, that ad hoc committee constituted under Orders 5 and 24 must be dissolved immediately, and that the Committee on Privileges and Immunities be urgently constituted in accordance with the standing orders, and the matter be referred to the committee for full and proper investigation for subsequent action. Again, Alexander Afenyo-Markin is requesting for a formal meeting, and he says, I humbly request to meet you at your earliest convenience, preferably before Tuesday, 4th February 2025, to discuss these grave concerns, explore remedial actions, and chart a dignified path forward. So that is that 5-page test statement that have been sent to the office of the Speaker by way of a memo.
Now, earlier they also addressed the news conference where they are talking about escalating this particular matter to the National Party.
Well, yes, they in fact cite some of the breaches that they allege have occurred in the Speaker's action, which we have cited for you, but also talk about the fact that there are national parties in full support of the action that they've taken. In fact, at this news conference, the chairman of the party, Stephen Ayesu in team, as well as the General Secretary, Justin Kodia Frimpong, were all in Parliament to offer their support.
His mandate and in the process arrogated powers that he does not have unto himself. Even where there are contempt proceedings, which would trigger a breach of privilege and by extension the need for certain actions to be taken, a committee must be set to look into this. On this occasion, Mr. Speaker was dealing with a disorderly conduct which took place at the committee level, where the chairman of the committee had a mandate to deal with the matters. He now says that he has, on his own, suspended these members without hearing them. The chair of the committee did not communicate anything to the speaker. Neither did the speaker invite any of us in leadership for any discussion. In any event, even where there is punishment, our rules are clear. It can be for 4 days, 8 days, or 12 days according to order wanted. We have escalated the matter to our party level. MPP Minority Caucus is a wing of the MPP in Parliament. So we have also communicated this matter to party headquarters, the national chairman, the general secretary, and the national executives have become aware of this, and they take the matter seriously. They are not taking it lightly at all. They believe that the diplomatic channels must remain open. But we want to say this with emphasis. This mighty few, this happy few, will not allow itself to be intimidated.
Well, so that is Alexander Afenyo making there when he was addressing the press earlier in Parliament. But again, on the same matter, he speaks about, in his opinion, what is the legal status of the vetting of ministerial nominees conduct after they had left?
So right after this chaos ensued, the next morning they did continue the vetting with Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. But along the line, upon hearing that the Speaker of Parliament had suspended some of their MPs, they decided to recuse themselves, especially as the Speaker had said that the committee be reconstituted. And so they say that having left, the committee did an illegal job, and their consideration is that all the other persons they vetted were simply not vetted in a legal sense.
As we concerned, that was an illegality. They defied Mr. Speaker, even though Mr. Speaker said we should stop proceedings and reconstitute the committee. So it's illegal. It's a nullity. It's odious. We cannot be part of it, and we'll make our position known on the House floor. To court the last time because all doors for engagement were shut. On this occasion, the doors of engagement have not been shut yet. We are going to engage Mr. Speaker. We want to give reverence to his high office. We want to engage him. He's a Democrat. We believe that with his years of experience, minority leader, majority leader, second deputy, and now speaker, we are going to engage him, and I'm sure with the posture of the majority leader ready for us to meet with him, I pray that we're able to do everything so that tomorrow will be a happy day for all of us.
So that's Alexander Afenyo there on this matter. But before you leave, the MPP also has a statement out taking on the speaker after they joined the minority in Parliament to have this press earlier.
Well, yes, according to this statement signed by Justin Kodia Frimpong, he says the party has learnt with scorn that the Right Honourable Speaker on Friday unilaterally suspended members of Parliament. He says the party sees this as selective, autocratic posture of the Speaker as very dangerous, with all these actions packaged to cow the minority into submission, consequently weakening its potential to hold the government accountable. The party calls on all in capital, especially its honourable members of Parliament, to be assured of the party's unflinching support at all material times and fully support the press conference of the Minority Caucus and its subsequent briefings. In this spirit, the party wishes to state that it does not accept the decision of the Speaker to suspend its members, which is in flagrant disregard for the Constitution of the Republic as well as the rules of natural justice. And he says the party reiterates its position that it stands with its 88 gallant honourable members to address all form of repression and unfairness in the application of the rules governing Parliament and the nation. Signed, Justin Kojo Frimpong, General Secretary of the party.
So until this suspension elapses, these 4 MPs cannot go to Parliament.
In fact, that is the understanding we got from the ruling of the Speaker. And when the Speaker did deliver that ruling, another Umpreh was in the chamber. He left immediately after that. Jeriam and Shaibu was also at the appointment committee. He also left. But today at the news conference, both MPs, together with Hassan Tampoli, the third NPP MP to have been suspended, were all there. We do not know yet if the understanding of this is that it only is limited to committees and chamber, and perhaps that they could go to their offices and do other things. Because mind you, the Speaker in his ruling or his communication did say that those persons who have been suspended who hold offices must hand over their responsibilities to other persons to act within the 2 weeks that they stay suspended.
Well, the chairman of the committee investigating the chaos at the vetting of ministerial nominees, which of course is the genesis of all of these suspension issues, Emmanuel Bejra, has assured the probe is not aimed at unfairly targeting any member of parliament. He also announced the committee will hold public hearings from Wednesday.
The committee wishes to announce that we have decided to hold a public hearing of all the issues starting from Wednesday here in Parliament House at 10 a.m. prompt. We shall expect members of Parliament, the media, the guests who were present at a vetting room, as well as members of the general public, to voluntarily appear to assist the committee with the relevant information on the incident. The committee has created a digital platform, a WhatsApp platform, where we shall receive multimedia evidence, including videos, audios, and tests to facilitate a speedy execution of the committee's tasks. The committee has decided that we will solicit the service of a forensic expert from the Ghana Police Service to assist with the authentication and analysis and validation of any multimedia evidence that will be received from the witness. Starting from this morning or this afternoon, we will start viewing some of the video evidences that Parliament has. The committee would like to place on record that it is not part of its job to target or witch hunt anyone. And I want to repeat it. We are not here to witch hunt any of our colleagues or members of Parliament. This work is to look for evidence of any member of Parliament who may have flouted the rules of engagement in this House.
This is Top Story, always brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Let's bring in John Darko Esquire. He is Member of Parliament for Swami, and he joins us on the telephone line. So I'm grateful to you for joining us. How else were you expecting the Speaker of Parliament to deal with this particular matter?
It's interesting. I'm shocked that my colleague, Mr. Bejra, sees that this is a very well legalized committee set up, and that he is calling for evidence, and that he's going to watch video evidence of what somebody has done or did not do. Look, I think that we are on a slippery slope right now. The NDC cannot approbate and reprobate at the same time. When the Speaker made the order, or when he brought his statement, they violated the Speaker's order. When the Speaker said that he had, by his order or by his statement, reconstituted the appointment committee, they believed that the Speaker didn't have that authority. And so they went ahead and then vetted these ministers. So at one point they believed that the speaker didn't have authority to make that decision. That's why they violated the speaker's order, in spite of the fact that the minority had brought to the attention of the chairman of the appointment committee and the NDC members on the appointment committee that this is the speaker's position, that the committee be reconstituted. Now, the speaker, in his communication, sets up a committee on his own to investigate a matter. And these colleagues of ours believe that this is legal and that for this particular one, they'll be part of it and have started talking about meeting people and taking evidence. Look, what basis does the speaker have to set up a committee? And as a country, we need to understand that anything we do must be grounded in law, either in the constitution and if it's in parliament, by a standing order. Look, I've looked through the standing order, right? And I've always said that I'm waiting to be educated. Can the speaker set up a committee to investigate any matter? I believe the answer is no. If you look at Order 262 of our standing order, it is titled Special or Ad Hoc Committee. And it reads that the House, and listen, it didn't say the Speaker. The Speaker is not the House. It says that the House may, by a motion, appoint a special or an ad hoc committee to A, investigate any matter of public importance, and then 2, consider any bill or enactment. So in this particular matter, we are looking at to investigate a matter of public importance. It has to be decided by the House and will go through a motion. The Speaker is not the House, and there hasn't been any motion. The Speaker on his own, Swoboto, cannot set up a committee. And the interesting thing is that he puts members on it. And if you look at his communication, it says that on this, no member can refuse to be on the committee. And that I have put you there, whether you like it or not, stay on this committee and work. What kind of republic are we building? We are not in a banana republic. There's a reason why we have our constitution. There's a reason why we have our standing orders. There's a reason why we have the Parliament Act on all the various acts. They are supposed to guide and guard us so that we don't veer off the straight and narrow path.
Okay.
What is happening is very dangerous. The Speaker is arrogating to himself powers he doesn't have, and we shouldn't tolerate that. We need to challenge the authority of the Speaker. And look, when you talk to the members of the committee, I believe our members will not join, for sure. But our members are not going to be part of this illegality. But when you talk to the NDC members, ask them, what authority does the Speaker have to set up a committee? Apart from Order 262, there's no provision that gives the Speaker authority to set up a committee. And so we challenge that as well.
So you're challenging the setting up of the committee by the Speaker. But does the House currently have a privileges committee?
No, so you see, we have all the committees. So outside all the committees, the House may appoint a committee to investigate a matter which is important to the Republic or a special matter. So that is why I read Order 262 to you. That
Yes.
the House may, by a motion, appoint a special committee, which may be ad hoc or call it a special committee. Okay? To investigate anything that we deem to be necessary.
So in this
It will
case,
give the Speaker the power to set up this committee.
so when
The 262 is clear.
when you say the House and you say the Speaker is not the House,
Yes, the Speaker is not the House. The House is made up of the members plus a person presiding.
okay, so how should this committee have been formed if the House, as you explain, was the one to have done the appointment?
Well, so a motion will be brought by the person who want to bring either the minority leader or the majority leader, and will be seconded, and then the Speaker may, pursuant to the motion, rule that, okay, a committee be set up. So, for instance, if there's a serious issue and needs parliamentary inquiry, a member or generally the leaders may, by motion, ask the Speaker, and the Speaker will agree, and then in fact, generally, when you set up such a committee, the leadership of the committee will have to be consulted. And then based on the numbers they have and the people they want to be part of the committee, then they can suggest the members of the members to the committee. The speaker cannot on his own decide that I have appointed you. You come and join this committee. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen anywhere.
Okay.
And we shouldn't allow that to happen.
So will we see the minority take this matter up in court to challenge the speaker?
Well, our leaders would look at that. But I think I can assure you that our members are not taking part of this illegal committee which has been set up. We are not going to be part of it.
So your members who have been suspended will not avail themselves to the committee?
No, this committee is illegal. In fact, our members haven't been suspended. What happened was illegal. Look, it hasn't happened. Nothing has happened. In our view, nobody has been suspended. When you don't have power to do an act, whatever you do is
okay,
so it hasn't even happened. But I'm trying to get a word. But the point, you cannot build something on nothing. The speaker did not have the authority to suspend anybody. So in our view, nobody has been suspended.
Okay, but do you have disorderly conduct as part of your standing orders, or that 129? Do you have that in your standing orders? Because I
will read order 35 to you.
I read that 1294. It says where the member, minister or deputy minister disregards the authority of the speaker to withdraw, the speaker shall invite the marshal to act on the order, and the speaker shall suspend the member, minister or deputy minister from the service of the house for a period not exceeding 4 sitting days. So the speaker,
you see, you have to read 129. 129 is quite different. Okay. If you look at 35, let me read 35, order 35 to you. If you look at order 35, which deals with disorderly conduct generally, and if you have the rules book with you, open page 25, okay, and the order 35, it talks about punishment for contempt of parliament or breach of parliamentary privilege, and it's titled exclusion of disorderly member. Exclusion of disorderly member.
Okay.
And it says that where, in the opinion of the person presiding over the house, a committee, the conduct of a member is grossly disorderly, the person presiding may order the member to withdraw from the premises of parliament, and that member shall immediately leave the premises and shall not enter the premises again during the remainder of the day.
Okay.
So the one that gives the speaker the right to ask you to leave for disorderly conduct under order 35 will ask you to leave for the remainder of the day.
Okay. All right.
All right. Now, when it comes to 129 and 130, you must have been found to be contempt. And you can only be found to be contempt when the Privileges Committee has sat and made a determination.
Okay. All right. Let me bring in lawyer Samson Ladi Ayenini. He is a private legal practitioner. Samson, grateful to you for joining us here. I mean, do you also agree that the speaker was going above his powers?
So, Grace, you would realize that we may have been the first to raise the issue in reference to the laws or the standing orders on news file on Saturday. As part of my preparation for the show, normally I do a certain check. If there is any matter and there is any law relating to that matter, I'll first check with that law. So I went to read the standing orders and I found that whilst in order 35 of the standing orders, the speaker has a certain power, and that power is for the speaker to ask a member to withdraw from the house. The particular order, let me read it to you. It says exclusion of disorderly member. So if you have conducted yourself in a disorderly way, you could be excluded. When you read that, it says that where in the opinion of the person presiding over the house or a committee, the conduct of a member is grossly disorderly, the person presiding may order the member to withdraw from the precincts of Parliament and that member shall immediately leave the precinct and shall not enter the precinct again during the remainder of the day's sitting. So this particular one is how I began my inquiry, and I found that you would say it is clear on the face of this particular order that if it was a committee that was conducting a proceeding, it is the chairperson of the committee, because the rule says the person presiding. So it would have been a Ahiafo's job, another Ahiafo's job, the first deputy speaker's job, to make an order for those people to be excluded from the proceedings for the disorderly conduct. But again, that would have been limited to that day. Then the inquiry goes further to see if the speaker has any such powers. And then you go to the provision you just looked at. Now, that provision clearly is about contempt proceedings. But even before Order 35, you see in Order 34 that the Speaker has a power to make a referral when there is a certain development that has happened, especially including matters of contempt, to make a referral. But the order clearly says the referral must be to a specific committee. The committee is named, and that committee is a committee of privileges, so that they will give a hearing and make a finding. Osache Mensah Bonsu has the experience that I don't have, that those you are even speaking to on the show will not have as far as parliamentary proceedings are concerned.
Okay, all right.
He was of the view that the Speaker could set up the committee that he had set up, but he could not purport to give the suspension that he had done. So if you read the provisions about the suspension is for, as in 129 and 130. The suspension is a result of a contempt hearing by a privileged committee before the suspension can kick in.
Okay, all right.
Otherwise, when we first heard about it, you would have thought that this is normal, or it is the standard you find in any organization. In law and in most organizations, or almost all organizations, you will see that the processes allowed, including even the processes for, as it were, punishing a civil servant or a public servant, you find allows that immediately the thing has happened, there will be an interdiction. So you can say the suspension will be equated to the interdiction. And then a committee is set up, a disciplinary committee is set up to look into the matter and then prepare sanctions if the person is found guilty. But in this case, it doesn't appear that the Speaker has an option for as long as their standing orders are provided the manner in which what ought to be done is done.
Okay, all right. I'm grateful to you, Lawyer Samson Ladi Ayanini, for this education. This has been Top Story, brought to you by Telecel and Holding Insecticide Spray and Coil. Up next is Newsnight.
Live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. And coming up tonight, former Employment and Labour Relations Minister Ignatius Bafwewa picked up by the police for his club's role in the death of a Kotoko fan in Inswatreman over the weekend. Plus, Minister-designate for Sports and Recreation condemns the violent clashes and calls for improved security at football venues to prevent future recurrence.
Appropriate actions will be taken by government because we are not going to tolerate any such act. This government.
Also coming up, the Ghana Football Association suspends the Ghana Premier League and bans Inswatreman Football Club from using their home venue indefinitely.
Also tonight, EPA makes urgent appeal to security agencies and state institutions to join the fight against illegal mining as it begins strict enforcement of the ban on mining in water bodies.
And it looks like our security agencies are not also on the ground. So the EPA is appealing to all institutions that are responsible to support this kind of protection of the environment.
Meanwhile, some residents around the Etua Forest are calling on government to repeal LI 2462 immediately, urging President John Dramani Mahama to honor his promise to them.
And also coming up tonight, Lands Minister Emmanuel Amakofibua vows to be unrelenting in the galamsey fight on his first day in office as Lands Minister, as he warns staff of the ministry who are not professional to stay away.
In this ministry, when you walk in here, you must come with your professional heart, determined to help me, the minister, achieve the objectives and the mandate that has been given President Mahama. For anybody here who is not aligned, you must think twice about whether he wants to work here.
We have details as he is set to hold monthly press briefings on galamsey and other issues that fall under his ministry.
Also tonight, Greater Accra Regional Minister gives 50-day ultimatum to fix dead street lights in Accra, plus plans to drive all hawkers off the street in a move to transform Accra in the next 4 years.
Oh yes, in fact, within 50 days in office, all these things should be fixed. 50 days in office, yeah. Yes, not even all, but we'll make sure that majority, at least 70% of it.
We have details as she sets sanitation improvement as a new performance target for MMDCs, indicating zero tolerance for non-performance.
One of the key performance indicators for metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives will be their effectiveness in managing sanitation and waste. In line with this, there will be a regional sanitation day on the last Friday of every month.
And in business,
inflation continues to slow to new levels, giving some strong indication of Ghana being on that path to the single-digit target.
In sports,
government to review security protocols at sporting venues following fatal stabbing of Kotoko fan.
My name is Fostina Sarfo.
And I'm Kenneth Gyasi. Details after this.
Why we dey connect each child? You know, be say we won't make one our loved ones happy.
Daddy, thanks for the tea cash, okay? I love you.
That be my daughter, Angela.
Meba Kojo, yami sure why? Tea cash naba. I know Papa Yina Jawase.
Say I go take care of my parents. It be my duty. Say make I pay my bills. I dey use Telecel cash. The suppliers for my shop there.
Hello boss, I get a Telecel cash alert too. We dey deliver the things right here.
I dey make them happy because I fit pay them directly to the merchant number for any network talk. Then sort my people out with Telecel cash for free.
If one a family parties, them business partners they happy. It be they make one a connection strong. Carry Telecel cash, send money, give your people for them a Telecel cash wallet store. Any day, anytime. It be free. Make you save money. Tap cool. Then make your menace smile. Anytime you go carry Telecel cash, send them money.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we begin from here as the executive chairman of Inswatreman Football Club, Ignatius Bafwewa, has been invited by the Ghana Police Service for questioning following the death of a football fan at Inswatreman FC's home game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko over the weekend. The former Minister of Employment and Labour Relations has reportedly been charged with conspiracy to commit murder. And of course, we have a police statement coming in right now, and my colleague Michael Ashale has the details. Michael, what is the police saying about this?
Well, this is a statement just signed by Grace Ansan-Krufis, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Director of Public Affairs. The statement says that the Ghana Police Service has arrested 3 individuals in connection with the violent disturbances that occurred yesterday, 2nd February 2025, during a football match between Insuatreman FC and Kumasi Asante Kotoko FC at Insuatre in the Bono region, resulting in the death of 1 person. It goes on to say that the suspects are Ignatius Bafuiwa, Ajimandua Owusu, and Treme Joseph. All 3 suspects are currently in police custody, assisting in the investigation. A search conducted in the room of suspect Ajimandua Owusu led to the retrieval of 2 dresses with suspected bloodstains and an MP23 pistol with 15 rounds of ammunition. The Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Kufu Dampare, has spoken to the family of the deceased and the leadership of Kumasi Asante Kotoko Football FC to express the condolences of the police. It goes on to say that the Inspector General has also assured the family and the club of a thorough investigation into the matter. It ends that a special team has been deployed from the Criminal Investigation Department and from the headquarters here in Accra to assist the Bono Regional Police Command in the investigation. So, Kenneth, this is the statement we are receiving for the Ghana Police Service on the issue, on the incident that happened yesterday between Insuatreman FC and Kumasi Kotoko.
Indeed, we will be following up on this particular subject.
Well, let's do more on this, Ken, and it's a good time to bring in Steve Zando. He's been following this. He's been engaging the wife of the deceased in question. Thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight. When you went to the area, what exactly did she tell you?
So I was at the family house of the mother of the late Polly, Mr. Francis Yao Entry. Her name is Ama Nyame, and I also went to the wife's family house. In fact, when I went to the mother's family house, it was heartbreaking because, she spoke to the son 3 days ago, and he made it clear to her that he was traveling to Insuatre to watch Asante Kotoko versus Insuatreman FC. The next thing that he heard from the media is that the son has lost his life tragically. And so for the mother, Amanyame, she wants her son to be back. She's still in disbelief. She doesn't really believe that the son is no more. It's understandable. And so it was really heartbreaking. She broke down into uncontrollable tears. And I also went to the family house of the wife as well. And what I observed there was similar to what I observed at the mother's family house. The wife said even after 3 p.m. on Sunday, she spoke to the husband. And the husband was painting a picture of what was going on in Insuatre. The fact that the home team, that is Insuatreman FC, their fans were trying to prevent Kotoko from accessing the Nana Kromansa Park. And then that was the last conversation that she had with the husband. And so the husband assured her that, he'll be back home safely. Unfortunately, she heard from the media that Polly has passed on. It was heartbreaking, and she also broke into uncontrollable tears.
In that interview, I also noticed that she was still in denial. She said she was waiting for her husband to come back home. What exactly is she expecting from authorities?
So what they are expecting from authorities is for justice to be served. Because, they say that Polly always follows the media guys to watch Kotoko matches, and they always come back together. This time around, Polly left Kumasi to go and watch Kotoko full of life. Unfortunately, he returned with a lifeless body. And so the only thing they are demanding in compensation is for justice to be served.
In the official statement put out by Kotoko, they actually sent their condolences. Have they received any official statement or visit from any other person?
Oh yes, when I went to the family house, both the wife and the mother, Asante Kotoko officials had actually gotten in touch with these family members. And so the next thing is for them to go ahead with the funeral arrangements as tradition demands here in the Ashanti region. But what I can also say is that Asante Kotoko officials will meet live president of Asante Kotoko, His Majesty Otunfo Osetu II, to officially inform him the tragedy that has happened. And so from there, Kotoko said they will come out with another public statement, this time in conjunction with what the family will tell them.
Thank you so much. Now, it's a good time to just get a wrap of what exactly happened. This morning on SMS, we heard from the member of Kotoko media team, Stephen Owusu. He witnessed the horror and he gave an account as to what exactly happened. We'll hear from him shortly. But then join me in the studio is a member of our Joy Sports Desk, Daniel Cranting. Daniel, for people listening and they don't know what actually happened, give us a rundown. What happened?
It was a Ghana Premier League match week 19 clash between Insuatreman and Asante Kotoko yesterday. That game has a lot of history with the two teams and where they come from, the two areas. The game was stopped a couple of times during the match because of some unrest. First off, it started on the field. In fact, before the game, there were some tensions, obviously, because of the rivalry and the tension between the two clubs. But the game was halted a couple of times. There was brawl between the two teams. Missiles were being thrown onto the pitch. It happened the first time. Then the referee and the match commissioner decided to continue the game. Then the game was halted again because of similar incidents in the crowd and on the field also. Eventually, the game was allowed to continue. It ended up with Insuatreman winning by 1-0. But then the clashes escalated and it went it continued after the game, after the final whistle, outside the stadium. Eyewitness reports state that Poli, which is Francis Frimpong, he was stabbed. They found him lying down. The ambulance service was close by. In fact, the ambulance was close by. It took a while before he was put in the ambulance and eventually sent to the hospital. But unfortunately, he didn't make it. A couple of minutes after the final whistle, in fact, when reports started emerging from the venue, the GFA released a statement. First of all, Asante Kotoko released a statement condemning the action. It took a while before Insuatreman eventually released their statement. They also put out an account of the story from their side. They said it started, or the clashes started at a nearby drinking spot before it came to the stadium, sort of trying to shift attention from themselves. But at the end of the day, the GFA came out with a statement condemning the action. First of all, they decided and they have announced that they have put a halt to the Ghana Premier League. So the Ghana Premier League will take a pause at match day 19. They also ordered an emergency meeting with all the clubs, and Insuatreman was also given a stadium ban. At the end of the statement, the GFA also confirmed that they have referred the matter to the police to begin investigation. So from the footballing side, the FA has done what goes by the rule book to make sure that whoever is found culpable will be punished. But if done in terms of the criminal side, they've referred it to the police. So the police will take over the matter from here.
Thank you, Daniel, for providing us with that update. Well, a member of Kotoko media team, Stephen Owusu, witnessed the horror. Ken will hear from him shortly, but then take us away.
The Minister Designate for Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams, has also condemned the violent clashes that happened at Insuatre over the weekend, which resulted in the death of a football fan. The deceased, identified as Francis Frimpong, popularly known as Pole, was believed to be a passionate supporter of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now, Kofi Adams says this government will follow this issue to the end and ensure all those found culpable are dealt with by the law.
Government will follow through to its logical conclusion. It doesn't matter who is involved. It will not matter who is involved. If you are found guilty that you instigated, you participated, the appropriate actions will be taken by government, because we are not going to tolerate any such act. This government, the administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will not tolerate any violence whatsoever, any hooliganism at any of our stadia and any of our games. That is not what sport is about. And especially for us who have seen what hooliganism and violence in sports can do to a nation, the May 9th disaster, we should not be having this occur again. No. Of course, it is also a wake-up call to look at our security at stadia.
Right.
Stadia security. We will have to look at review security at stadia and see to improving security
at our stadium. And also in emergency responses, the ambulance responses. Is it enough that you have a match of that nature and only one ambulance, or you need more than one to be strategically positioned and so on and so forth? Our emergency response situation in our stadium, we need to review all this and make sure that we bring it to standard.
While away from that, the Environmental Protection Agency is making an urgent appeal to security agencies and state institutions to join the fight against illegal mining as it begins strict enforcement of the ban on mining in water bodies. Now, over the weekend, the agency seized 3 excavators along the River Offing, reinforcing its commitment to protecting water sources from destruction.
Right, and despite previous government interventions, Galamsey continues to severely pollute vital water bodies. And led by the EPA CEO, Professor Nanama Brown Kluche, the authority, it says, is ramping up enforcement efforts to curb the menace. Nanaya Ojima was with her and now reports.
The EPA issued a directive last month ordering the cessation of all mining activities within and along water bodies. It further indicated preparedness to seize and prosecute persons acting contrary to the directive. Checks by the EPA revealed persons perpetrating the illegality at Pasro tributary of the Offin River continued to mine despite the order. Though the miners were absent at the time of the visit, 3 excavators and other equipment used in the mining operations were mounted at the site. According to experts, the pit is newly dug for the mining activities. CEO of the EPA, Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluche, expressed disappointment at the spate of destruction.
When we came, we didn't find the miners on ground, but we have seen the level of destruction that has happened here. We've seen also not just the gold mine, there's also sand winning in this area. There's a lot at stake. So you can see the pit behind me. This pit, we need to reclaim the land. We need to rehabilitate the water. We looked at the water, the color of the water. You see a clear pollution of the water. We are here. We have seen it with our naked eyes for the first time. This is my first visit since I took office, and it's pathetic. I'll plead with the communities and their elders, the chiefs, to come in, step in this.
Continuous mining in the river bodies has resulted in the destruction of some water bodies in the country. To the EPA, restoration of the river bodies remain a priority.
So our first focus has been on the water bodies because it is pathetic. We can't do without water. If our rivers are all getting polluted and taps are not having water running through them, it's an emergency we need to tackle immediately. So that is where we started from.
Meanwhile, the tributary of the Offin River is also affected by illegal sand winning. Huge acres of land are destroyed by the winners. Professor Kluche reviewed the area will come under regulation.
EPA still regulates the sand winning or sand mining activities. So we just need to ensure that the miners of the sand have the right permit to do what they do. It is EPA's mandate to regulate that as well. Of course, they also go through the Minerals Commission for some licenses and access and all of that. We also want to plead with all the other agencies that are involved in such mining activities, providing the licenses and regulation to also up their game.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ochima, Kumasi.
Right, and still on illegal mining, the concerned citizens of Atiwa Landscape are calling on government to repeal the legislative instrument which allows for mining in forest reserves. Now, the group alleges that illegal miners have taken over the forest. They want President John Mahama to make good his promise to them. Nana Yao Ampim Amponsa speaks for the concerned citizens of Atiwa Landscape.
You know, the LI 240 has said that before you issue the license for mining operator, we should exclude all forest. the landscape. We have miners in there doing galamsey. So we want him to halt all the galamsey things that is going on in the forest, because illegal miners have taken over the Tiwa forest. But what he said in 2016, we are pleading with him to come back to what he said, the promise, and fulfill it by halting every galamsey activity in the Tiwa forest.
Well, Ken, it's a good time to bring in the CEO of EPA, Nana Ama Brown Kluche. Thank you so much, Prof, for your time here on Newsnight. Now, let's start with a breakdown of what this operation actually entails. What's the scope?
Yeah, thank you, and good evening to your listeners. Is it the operation that we had at the Central region over the weekend?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Yeah, so this is following an issue, a press statement that EPA brought out last week on the illegal mining on lands around the water body and in our water body. So the EPA statement was that all mining activities in the water bodies and around the water bodies should cease. It went ahead to say citizens and Ghanaians seeing such should report accordingly for EPA to take action from that. So we received several of those complaints about mining in the water bodies and around it. So EPA, led by myself and the Ashanti Regional Office, paid an unannounced visit to one of the sites we got a call on. So this is a tributary of Sano River, I think by Kesi area. So we went to inspect the place, and then we saw that truly, indeed, there's mining activity happening very close to the Sano River. On our way there, we saw that the Sano River was completely polluted. The color has changed, and it goes even beyond the color. If mercury is mixed up with water, you don't get to see. Cyanide mixed up with water, you don't get to see with your naked eyes. Other heavy metals may be mixed up in the water, you don't get to see. But on the surface, you see the water, the color of the water is changed, it's polluted. So we were following to make sure that people have stopped mining. But it looks like it's still happening. People are still mining in and around the water bodies. What we seek to do is to engage the community where these mining activities are happening. Because if they can decide not to allow, even if the people have the license to mine, but the EPA will never give license to anybody to mine in water bodies or a certain circumference around a water body. So which means that the activities are illegal, and we have to take legal action or prosecute them where possible.
And then let's move on to look at the excavators that were seized during this operation. What will happen to them, and were there any arrests?
Yes, so we didn't really look the miners on site. Whilst we were there, a few young men came there because they saw the cars moving to the site. With our interaction with them, they confessed that they've been working for the miners. So they watched the ore, and then they take them away. So our engagement with them was fast. With the excavators, we see what we had there. We seized two of them. We couldn't take one off because the operator was not around and the key was not around. And the truck to carry it could not use that road to get to the site. But we were able to send two away to the Regional Coordinating Council office. We left it to the National Security operators there.
Will you be moving to other regions with this operation? Because I know you started in the Ashanti region.
Yes, we'll be moving to other regions. In fact, we are not done with the Ashanti region yet. So this was an unannounced visit to the site by myself and my team. The intelligence and compliance unit of the EPA will be moving to Ashanti region. From any time from next week, they'll be moving to Ashanti region to make sure that people are complying to the environmental rules. So that one is going to happen next week in Ashanti region.
But what's different really from this strategy?
We feel we should engage the community and leadership. Another thing we will do is, as we speak, we have experienced or seen technologies that are message-free that we can use to do the data processing. We want to engage the miners on it, and we hope that they will make use of this new technology. We would also be educating the miners on sustainable way of mining and reclaiming of the mining land. Of course, we saw places that have been abandoned, like they done with their mining and they left it distracted. But those who are still on it, we can hold them accountable after mining to cover or reclaim the land and even even plant trees on them.
Okay.
So we make it easy,
okay,
but we engage them as humans to have some love for the environment.
Thank you so much, CEO for EPA, Nana Kluche.
Well, let's still stay on illegal mining because the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Emmanuel Amakofibua, has vowed to be unrelenting in the fight against galamsey on his first full day in office as minister. Amakofibua is warning staff of his ministry who will not act professionally and sabotage his effort to fight galamsey to stay away or be dealt with. He was speaking to journalists after meeting with top management and staff of the Lands Ministry.
I had a very good meeting with the chief director and the directors of the ministry. I finished a staff meeting today and engaged the staff of the ministry, roughly about 160 of them. And we got a chance to, share ideas. First, I had to introduce myself and let them know why I'm here and the mandate of His Excellency President John Mahama. I share with them that we are here because we have the mandate of the people of Ghana to reset not only Ghana, but especially in this case, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, to focus on reforming the forestry department, making sure that we take a complete look at the mining sector and address all the concerns that the people of Ghana have shared, and make sure we bring a stop to illegal mining. And in the process, make sure the destruction of our forests and our environment and our water bodies is basically brought to an end. We need to stop the bleeding, and so for the ministry, everybody who is working here, his goal must be towards achieving that objective. I told them that this place in this ministry, when you walk in here, you must come with your professional heart, determined to help me, the minister, achieve the objectives and the mandate that has been given President Mahama and his new government. If anybody here who is not aligned, he must think twice about whether he wants to work here.
Well, that's the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Emmanuel Amakofibua. He also says he will hold monthly briefings to address the nation on efforts being made to fight galamsey and will keep the nation informed every step of the way.
I'm very confident. As a leader, my job is to make sure I motivate and drive everybody here to believe that we can achieve all the goals we've set. And I think that that's what I'm going to provide. And I think that, as I've said today, everybody who is determined to work and support me achieve these objectives must feel free and be excited to work here, because those are the people I'll be working with. And so we started on a very positive note, and I believe that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the beautiful staff I met today, will also have. We'll be doing the next step in the coming days, where we'll be engaging all the sector agencies to basically look at their commitments. That's what we want to do. We'll set goals. We'll be going in the coming weeks, or we'll also be going on a retreat to make sure we set a clear timeline goals for the quarter, each quarter till the end of the year, and make sure we have clear benchmarks in achieving these goals. And so we are very excited, and I think that the people of Ghana can be assured that we are here going to work very hard on their behalf. You took the trouble, the media, to visit the ministry on my first day in office. I believe that you are a key part of this effort. And let me use the opportunity first to thank you, the media, for your reportage on the issues of mining and illegal mining and the destruction of our water bodies.
That's the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Emmanuel Ama Kofi.
And it's time now for business. George Rafi joins me in the studio. George, tell me all about the new Bank of Ghana governor.
Well, Dr. Johnson Isiama today took office, been doing some engagement. I'll be getting you more details on what he has been up to and what he's promising the market as well. Well, coming up in the business, inflation rate continues to reduce to new levels, giving some strong indication of Ghana being on that path to the single-digit target. But the yam and tomatoes record the highest inflation rate. I'll be telling you more on that. And the new Bank of Ghana Governor, Dr. Johnson Isiama, promises to focus on their mandate in ensuring that there will be smooth transition. I'll be getting you more details on that on the business news on Newsnight. It's brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials. Sintas Tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Yafimi gave us the vibe. Now, Inshona Chile makes you thrive.
Yes, so it's time to enjoy, Charlie. Buy or renew your motor insurance, and boom! Free fuel coupons and airtime for your sweat. Who don't like enjoyment?
From January to June 2025, Enterprise Insurance gives you more reasons to smile on the road. Insure today and enjoy free fuel coupons for your car and airtime for your phone.
Free fuel? Airtime too? Hey! Enterprise Insurance, always your advantage.
Insure not chilly. It's simple. Insure and enjoy. Ready to secure your peace of mind and experience the fastest claims payment? Visit any of our branches or agency outlets nationwide. Connect with your insurance broker or enjoy the convenience of buying your insurance online through the Enterprise Advantage app today. Terms and conditions apply.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Brush your teeth every day and night. Up and down and all around. Brush your teeth and bright. Brush your teeth. Brush with mom and dad. Underneath and in between. Brush the germs away.
Pepsodent, cavity protection.
For 10 times stronger teeth.
This advert is FDA approved.
Odoye with tea bread.
What is it?
You see, Valentine's Day is coming. And this season, I want something specially different.
What?
Well, Roverman Productions, in partnership with Joy FM and National Theatre, is giving a special package in the Roverman Valentine's Fiesta. They are showing 2 amazing plays over 2 days. Bananas and Granites on the 14th and Naked in Bed on the 15th. The times 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. for Friday the 14th and 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. for Saturday the 15th. Oh, it's only 300 cedis for a ticket per show. Yes, at the National Theatre in Accra. Tickets? Oh, just use the Rover app or dial *365*535#. Simple cry. Hey, babe, so will you get the ticket?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you. You're such a darling. I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. The Roverman Valentine Fiesta is sponsored by Corba, Tilly's Tea, and OCM Cereal. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
Welcome back to Business on News Night. And now let's look at the fact that the rate at which inflation is increasing continues to reduce to fresh levels. New data from the Ghana Statistical Service showed that for the second month running is slowed to 23.5% for the month of January this year. There is more in this report.
December 2024, inflation rate stood at 23.8%. It then reduced to 23.5% in January this year. Let's look at the month-on-month numbers. In November last year, inflation was around 2.6% and then reduced to 1.8% and 1.7% in January 2025. Whilst the year-on-year tracks the rate of increase over the year, the month-on-month looks at how things have fared just over a month. Even though the 23.5% is far away from the single-digit target, developments over the past 2 months show that the rate of increase is going down and the country could be on the path of hitting the single-digit target by the second quarter of next year. However, the general price levels of foodstuff still continues to be a major challenge. For instance, from December 2024 to January 2025, it went up by 5%. The trend also showed that it has been rising over the past months. The data showed that inflation for imported items were reducing, whilst inflation for locally produced items were going up. Tomatoes and yam recorded the highest inflation over the past 1 year. The development again raises a lot of concerns about past programs aimed at boosting food production.
And that is a Business Desk report. Meanwhile, government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnenim has been giving some dynamics to the rising prices of foodstuffs on the market.
But what is intriguing from our point of view is when you disaggregate it in terms of the subclasses that we have under food inflation. And as was indicated earlier on, we have about 15 of that we present on a monthly basis. And consistently in the last 13 months, we've seen the dominance of vegetables, tubers, and plantains. So one can surmise that over the last 6 months, the consistent increase in food inflation that we've seen over the period has largely been driven by vegetables, tubers, and plantains. This also is further supported with the observation that Yam on a year-on-year basis recorded a change of 72.9%, which is one of the items that you're going to find under vegetables, tubers, and plantains. And also we're seeing tomatoes recording a price change of 43.3%. So once you disaggregate up to the item level, you can identify the items that are specifically driving the rate of inflation, food inflation, consistently in the last 6 months.
And that is government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Inin. The new Bank of Ghana Governor, Dr. Johnson Isiama, has promised to work with the current deputies of the bank to ensure a smooth transition. Dr. Isiama today formally began work as the new boss of the institution. Now, there are fears that he may move to let these two deputies push for an early retirement. But speaking at engagement on his first day at work, Dr. Isiama insisted that that is not on the table.
The public must see us, as working together. It's just another transition, which is normal. The good thing is some of the people here are people we know already. And so the transition, you can be sure, will be smooth. You can see how the transition can be. Early this morning, we have held a number of discussions already between ourselves. Some briefing has gone on. And so far, so good. You can be sure that everything will be fine. We are focused on our mandate, and that is what matters. And so you can look forward, to us executing our mandate as we've been doing.
And that is the new governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Meanwhile, Professor Peter Kotia, an economist, is urging the new governor to make sure that current programs being implemented by the bank are not disrupted.
You see them talking, you see them trying to have a smooth transition, which for me is very critical, very important. By the way, the governor and the first deputy governor were mates in school, so it's the communication and the transition will be good. The second deputy governor is also a mate of ours. So I expect this dialogue, smooth transition to continue. Dr. Isiama Johnson has been with the bank before. He's been there since
the deputy governor,
the deputy governor, since he completed his master's degree. And so he's quite an experienced guy who knows what it takes and has been there. I believe we'll get the support of the staff and of course, engage in teamwork so that we'll be able to stabilize the exchange rate. There's been some relative stability, but he needs to push that further.
And that is an economist, Professor Peter Koto. But before we go, the path may now have been cleared for the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi, to continue acting as boss of the institution. Now, this was after a suit filed by one Emmanuel Sarfo was withdrawn today. Now, the application was seeking to overturn President John Mahama's decision to appoint Mr. Sapon as acting boss of the Ghana Revenue Authority, citing alleged conflict of interest. However, legal documents filed at the Accra High Court confirmed that the suit has been wholly discontinued, paving the way for the Commissioner General to focus on his work at the institution. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Let's do sports with my brother.
Let's go straight into our stories. And Minister Designate for Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams, has assured the public that government will intensify security at various stadia across the country. This follows a tragic stabbing of an Asante Kotoko fan in their Ghana Premier League match against Nswatriman yesterday. Kofi Adams has also proposed a special security arrangement for Asante Kotoko going forward for away matches in the Bono region due to the history of violence against the club in that area.
Sure, you're not going to have the same thing that has been happening in the past. We will improve security. And especially one thing from my reading is that anytime Kotoko is playing a match in that part of the country, there seems to be some unpleasant situations. Sometimes not on the pitch, sometimes after the game, on their way back, they encounter such incidents. And so what it means also is that some special arrangement will have to be made for Kotoko anytime they have to have a match in that area.
You had sports. Minister Designate Kofi Adams speaking there, bringing an end to sports. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel. Now, let's bring you more stories tonight as the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, has given herself 50 days to lit the streets of Accra. The non-functioning of street lights has become a major concern across the country, with many attributing highway robberies and road accidents to the city's dark streets. The new Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, has been outlining her solution for the challenge as part of a grand agenda to transform the region in the next 4 years.
The provision and replacement of street lights will be intensified under my tenure to enhance visibility, reduce crime, and improve road safety, ensuring all efficient street light system will contribute to the region's overall security and economic development. I will ensure street enforcement and usage of footbridges in the region to enhance pedestrian safety and improve traffic flow.
When do you have any timelines for your plan to fix all street lights, as you mentioned?
Oh yes, in fact, within 50 days in office, all these things should be fixed. 50 days in office, yeah. Yes, not even all, but we'll make sure that majority, at least 70% of it, should be, yes, fixed.
Right, and my colleague James Aviji was at that particular press conference, which was addressed by the new Greater Accra Regional Minister, and joins me in the studio with more. James, let's talk about this street lights issue. Is it clear how the minister will get this done?
Well, Ken, it's not yet clear how she would do that, but we know that street lights have been maintained by the Urban Roads Department, as well as some assemblies, even through the engineering department, get the repairing of the street lights going. And I mean, most of the heads of all of this department have been present during this engagement. Remember, this is his first day at work where she's been interacting with heads of department of the various agencies at the regional level. And so the indication we get is that she will be collaborating with all of the various assemblies to execute this agenda.
Right, and let's talk about sanitation, which is also one of the problems of the capital. The minister has been telling us how she intends to deal with this. Tell us more.
Exactly. So, two key things. One is that she's making this as a key performance index for all of the MMDCs who are yet to be approved, and two is the drive to take away all hawkers from the street to make sure that the beauty of the street returns back to normalcy, so that all of the chaos we see are dealt with. Those are the two key things she's promising to do.
We will review and implement a comprehensive sanitation and waste policy in line with the NDC's Clean Up Ghana initiative to promote a healthier and cleaner environment. Waste segregation will be encouraged with support for garbage bins, bags, bins in public places and homes. One of the key performance indicators for metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives will be their effectiveness in managing sanitation and waste. The reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day and the Cleaner City Award will promote a competitive and responsible approach to environmental sanitation. In line with this, there will be a Regional Sanitation Day on the last Friday of every month. We will coordinate and monitor the enforcement of the National Sanitation Day policy, ensuring that MMDAs implement sustainable, integrated solid waste management strategies based on prevention, separation, reduction, recycling, and safe disposal.
Well, there's been reaction from the hawkers already. What are their concerns?
Well, they are concerned about the minister's move to take them off the street. They want an engagement, as well as the promise that wherever she will be taking them to, their businesses would still flourish there.
When you are driving us from this place, you have to tell us where are you going and what are we going to do at that place, how our market is going to be at that, because this place, the people know us. When we came from Akatamanto, sorry for left, and they come here, when somebody come and buy this tote bag, he will ask you, she or he will ask you, are you here always? I said yes. So when the person comes and he doesn't see me here, then you go to another person. Maybe the place that the minister is going to take me to that place, the person will not see me at that place.
Marketing, you bia never to me market inside the hall. Marketing also.
Not every trader can get a space in the market. The place is full to capacity. We don't have anywhere else to trade. That is why we sell by the roadside. Honorable Minister, I know you are a woman. You have some empathy for us. We promise to give way to pedestrians so that they can also patronize us.
Well, away from sanitation, let's talk education.
Well, the West African Examination Council has filed a stay of execution against the High Court directing the release of their withheld results. Now, on Thursday, 30th of January, the court ruled in favor of 4 students who filed an application on behalf of 10,520 candidates, arguing that WAEC had failed to specify the alleged malpractices and irregularities that led to the withholding of their results. However, WAEC's head of legal affairs, Reverend Victor Brew, told Joy News that the council is seeking a reconsideration of the ruling.
There has been a court case and there has been a ruling which we have filed a stay of execution pending appeal. Now we are yet to get a typed out copy of the ruling so that we can actually study it as lawyers and then respond as appropriate. The court makes a ruling based on the facts as the court perceives before it. Okay, and as we are aware, courts are human institutions. They make rulings, and they can really look at their own rulings. It's an issue of perhaps WAEC clarifying further what the position is and urging on the court to take a second look at its ruling.
Well, he further stated that the pressure for WAEC to release the withheld results without completing the necessary investigations is concerning.
We are having people finishing degrees, masters, and I dare say, with some reputation, PhD, who are not worth their salt. And I think that WAEC is only making a contribution to ensuring that we keep the gate so that we don't have people going through to become lawyers, doctors, even there's maybe judges, and so on and so forth, who have not gone through the rigor of study. I think we should be very careful as a nation. So I admit that, yes, we can, the situation can improve further. But that is a call for more resources, human resources, other resources. So I can do the work on all of us our behalf. We should not forget, all of us our behalf. If we feel as a nation that we should let people go, mass of people go who have cheated, well, let's say so. But we should remember, whatever we sow, we will reap.
WAEC's head of legal affairs, Reverend Victor Brew, there. Now, meanwhile, the lawyer for the applicants, Martin Pebu, has expressed disappointment in WAEC's decision to file a stay of execution.
Naturally, I'm disappointed that WAEC is dragging this matter because, as we speak now, the University of Ghana and then I think KNUST, they have closed their portals. What I mean is that any further delay in the release of the results will result in the affected candidates not being able to enroll in those particular universities this academic year. So this is a matter that is very, very serious. It's causing a lot of trauma, anxiety, depression, etc. to these affected candidates and their parents and well-wishers. So I was hoping that WAEC would release these results quickly so that these students can, apply at least the rest of the universities and then try to move on, in terms of their educational career.
We stay a while on education as the Ghana National Association of Teachers has attributed the decline in student discipline in senior high schools to the weakening of school authority and lack of parental collaboration in shaping children. Now, this comes in the wake of a disturbing viral video showing a student from Accra Academy wielding a cutlass to flog 2 of his peers.
The students have been handed over to the Ghana Police Service for further investigations, according to the school's management. Speaking to Joy News, NAT President Reverend Isaac Owusu emphasized the need to restore the authority of head teachers and teachers to enforce discipline effectively.
The authority on paper is there, but when a head teacher genuinely wants to exert that authority, a parent who is not happy will take the law into their hand and come and beat up that head teacher. We have a scenario in the Greater Accra when the teacher wanted to correct a student. The student family members trooped into the school, beat up this teacher, and as I talk to you now, the teacher is no more. And latter part of last year, you saw on social media that a student has used some devices to hit the teacher's eye in Ashanti region. So collectively, as a state, if we don't put up measures that will encourage the implementers of government policy, i.e. the teachers, then we are going to see worse. But how can a normal student will take a machete and start hitting a colleague? You will not, even if you have a dog at your house, will you use a cutlass to beat the dog? Certainly no. So for me, I think that the authority shouldn't be on paper, because you and I, when we used to be students back in the days, our teachers were able to discipline us.
Well, Reverend Owusu further called for sensitization of students on the importance of good behavior to minimize the indiscipline.
Immediately, I think that parents who are immediate caretakers of this case should do their best to advise their children to refrain from some of this unwanted behavior. And then, as teachers who will continue to encourage our members that we should continue to sensitize the children the importance of being putting up a good behavior, because once you are a student, think of tomorrow, what you want to become. And I believe that once we begin to talk to them and sensitize them, I think if we are unable to eradicate it, we will be able to minimize it.
Right, and that's how we wrap up tonight's edition of News Night. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
I am Fostina. Sarfo. Good night.